Welcome to the podcast, In Love with the Finks. I'm Cindy Berryman Fink.
And I'm Chuck Fink.
And our first episode today is titled, Making Lemonade from Lemons.
Well, this all started in 1979, and I was actually 28 at the time. I was working at the local daily newspaper and advertising. And it was a Saturday night, and a friend and I decided to go to a UC, University of Cincinnati basketball game because they had this wonderful winning tradition, except for that night. So we decided to leave early, and where should we go? Well, I lived in a place called Mount Adams, which is right next to downtown Cincinnati, and I lived in a little place there. And I said, well, why don't we just take a walk up that street and we can end up at a really nice bar called the Blind Lemon.
And let's see, January of 79, I had been in Cincinnati about 4 or 5 months. I'd moved there to take a job at the University of Cincinnati. And I was busy, new career, hadn't been in town very long, didn't know a lot of people. Most of my work colleagues were quite a bit older, and I couldn't really socialize with students. So I had a few friends, but I had a friend named Maggie who taught at a different university. And we were doing things together, and she said, how about if we go to this bar in Mount Adams, and I'll meet you there, and we'll have a good time. And so I met her there, and lo and behold, she had forgotten to tell me she was on a blind date. She was on a blind date. So there I was, sitting at the bar as the third wheel.
Well, it's good that that third wheel was there because my buddy Gary and I went to the Blind Lemon. Now, let me describe the Blind Lemon. It's like an English pub in Cincinnati. And the Mount Adams is kind of a hip, new area that people love to go to just to hang out. Well, the Blind Lemon was on a street, and above it was a restaurant. But if you go down to the back side, you slip into a little pub called the Blind Lemon. It's an English pub. It's smoke-filled. You hear a din of a conversation. And we walked in, and the place was packed. There was nowhere to sit. And then, all of a sudden, we saw one place to sit. And there were 2 women and 1 guy. Well, I have to tell you, I'm a short guy. My friend was a lot bigger. And Maggie, Cindy's friend, was bigger. Cindy's like 5'0". So I said, why don't you sit next to the bigger bone girl, and I'll sit next to the little one.
And as I recall, you were not real thrilled because I had a funky hairstyle that was almost masculine in style. But we started chit-chatting, and what won me over?
Well, I have to tell you, I first asked, I said, I'm not really good at bars, like picking up women. I wasn't good at it. So I just sat down and I said, what's your name?
And I said, Cindy Berryman Fink.
Ah, Cindy Berryman Fink.
Cindy Berryman.
Oh!
I wasn't a Fink yet.
She's jumping ahead.
Spoiler alert. Cindy Berryman.
Well, I sat next down to this cute little thing, and I said, what's your name? She said, Cindy Berryman. I forgot the Fink, but she forgot the Fink. It was happening later. But I sat down next to her, and after asking her name, I said, what do you do? I'm a professor from the University of Cincinnati. I thought, whoop-de-doo, because I didn't even have a college degree yet. So then I said, Cindy, where are you from? I'm from Massachusetts. I'm from Fall River. I heard that, and it came back to me. When I was 12 or 13, I did a perfect Kennedy impression. So I just turned to her and I said, on behalf of the people of Cincinnati, I want to welcome you to this bar.
And I said, thank you very much. And I was very impressed, I think, because I love the Kennedys, and you could do a pretty good Kennedy accent. So we chatted the rest of the night, and then I remember you asked for my telephone number.
This was before online dating, folks. This was the thing you did back then. So yeah, I asked her for...
And I took a piece of paper out of my purse and wrote my telephone number on it and gave it to you.
And I was so thrilled. She wrote it on her bank deposit slip. I knew I was in love.
Good thing you were an honest person and didn't rip off all my money from the bank.
Well, you found that out later, didn't you?
But anyway, you did not call for a month. A month. Now, I was busy, meeting more people, busy in my career, so it wasn't like I was sitting by the telephone pining, but you called a month later, and we went on our first date, And I remember it was quite an elegant date. We were going to go to the upscale China Gourmet, probably the finest Asian restaurant in Cincinnati. And we walked in, and we hadn't been seated yet when an older woman from across the restaurant said, Chucky! Chucky Fink! I haven't seen you since you got married.
Well, that woman was a mother of a friend of mine who I knew at high school. And I guess she hadn't gotten the memo yet because that marriage did not last long. And at this time, I wasn't married. But I cringed because she thought Cindy would think that I was married. But fortunately, we went to the blind, we had our dinner, the China Gourmet, and then to show her how much class I had, I took her to the Cincinnati Symphony, where the Pops were playing Beatles music. I thought, man, this is going to do it. This will make up for all the mistakes that woman said about me being married.
And it's a good thing I believed you, because you could have been telling a tall tale that you were still married, but I believe that it was a short-lived marriage and you weren't married that night, and we had a wonderful, very elegant date to a fine restaurant and the Cincinnati Pops. Then, second date, I decided I was going to cook dinner. Now, I had a roommate that was Italian, and she had taught me all these wonderful Italian recipes. So I made homemade chicken cacciatore, which is not easy to do. I cooked for several hours that day, set a nice table, candles, and you come in and I say, this is chicken cacciatore, and you say,
I wouldn't step in that. But now I wasn't really criticizing her food because Cincinnati is known for its skyline chili. Skyline chili is so unhealthy, but it's really, really good. So my goal was to take her to Skyline Chili, and I guess I could have used a better term than I wouldn't step in that.
And I guess that doesn't say a lot about me, that I continued dating. First date, oh, he's married. Second date, he won't step in my chicken cacciatore. But we continued dating, and we were engaged by that October, 8 or 9 months after we had met. And then we were married the following August, another 9 months. So it all turned out well.
Yeah, I guess so, because, we've been married, let's see now, let me do the math, 41 years. 41 years, and it all started that night with On Behalf of the people of Cincinnati.
And what's nice is we still get to visit the Blind Lemon from time to time.
Yes. Our son, who is now living in Cincinnati and is 37, and he's blessed us with 2 grandchildren. So we go back frequently, and when we do, not every time, but when we do, we'll sneak back to Mount Adams, and we'll take a look at the Blind Lemon, where it all began, because we made lemonade out of lemons. Thank you all, and just for everybody's sake, bye-bye.
Bye-bye.